Hey everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Cody Jones, an entrepreneur, mindset coach, and host of Pure Wisdom podcast, where he explores the connection between personal growth, health, and success. As the founder of Absolute Landscapes, Cody is passionate about helping others develop the right mindset to thrive in both business and life. How are you doing today, Cody?
I'm good, man. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you back. A little bit of backstory is, this is our second try at this. I was using Zoom back when we first did it, and I don't use it anymore
Yeah.
because it causes some issues sometimes. But here we are. Loved our conversation before. Think it's going to be just as good or better now because, the quality has improved since we last talked on my end. So I was happy to have you back because you're doing a lot of cool things. You're helping a lot of people, and there's people out there that need to meet you. To start off, though, where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
I'm in the southeast of the U.S. I don't know if I want to get really specific with it, but just, the southeast, the Carolinas, I'll say that, the Carolinas.
Awesome. Are you originally from the Carolinas or are you newer to the area?
Yeah, originally from there. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, not to go too specific with like restaurant names and stuff, but if you have friends coming into the into town, into your neighborhood, what are you doing for fun, and what kind of food are you going to go get?
Man, there's all kinds of things in the Carolinas. You can literally, I tell people this all the time, depending on where you're at, you can be in the mountains or the beach within, a 3-4 hour drive, depending on where you're at. There's a big, the soul food, the comfort food, the Southern, cooking food is really big around here. Barbecue. For whatever reason, hibachi is really big. There's a lot of hibachi places around. Uh, there's events, there's a couple different sports teams and stuff. So there's a good bit to do in the Carolinas. A lot of people that come here to visit, they come to visit Charleston or maybe like Myrtle Beach or some of the beaches up Wilmington in North Carolina. Really good beach locations. Then of course we have the mountains up in the North Carolina section.
Yeah, definitely not a place where you're going to be bored. You go, okay, I'm tired of the beach. We're going to the mountains. Okay, I'm tired of the mountains. We're going to go. You got all the options. Here we
Yeah.
got flat. Hope you like plane. We got a lot of plane.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, absolutely. So, what is it that you do? What can you tell us about that? You do a lot, but just in general.
Yeah. So I guess my first sort of business was the landscaping company, which I just realized I'm wearing a shirt for, Absolute Landscapes. But then somewhere, I don't know, somewhere I started a podcast a couple of years ago, been working on that recently. And then the newest thing is the coaching business, where I'm trying to take entrepreneurs or business owners, salespeople, people in those spaces, and help them improve their mindset to then improve their business.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, how'd you get started doing that? Obviously, you said the landscaping business was first, and then you got into podcasting and coaching, and all this stuff kind of came together. What's that story like? Is that something you always planned on doing in that order, or was it just kind of adding things as they came along?
No, man, to be honest with you, I didn't even really know what a coach was until, right before I started my business. I didn't realize people were doing this. And I don't know, I'm sure you know this. There's a coach for literally anything that you can think of. There's probably a coach for it. But I don't know. I'm really passionate about taking my story and sort of some of the things that I've learned and helping people take those same lessons and apply them to their life. Because I think one thing that really hurts all of us is that the only thing that is limiting us is the limiting beliefs that we believe about ourselves. And unfortunately, a lot of times these things come from outside sources that are not even us. They come from a school or parents or siblings or whatever, and we just take these beliefs as if they're our own. And those beliefs literally dictate everything that happens in our life. And so if I can just take somebody and work with them on their mindset about whatever issues they have, whatever's possible for them, whatever it is, I think I can help that person see that they can become the best version of themselves that they can. And I think that's what it's all about.
No, that makes a lot of sense. As time goes on, you're gonna just start accumulating stuff that you don't even need. Like, if you look in like my junk drawer, I have an
Right.
Allen wrench from a thing that I set up years ago. I have tape that's it's empty. It's still
Mm-hmm.
in there for some reason. A lot of loose change, just stuff.
Yep.
And every once in a while, you got to go shake it up and say, "Do I need this?" And
Right.
it's even more so important with your mindset because I only open my junk drawer occasionally when I'm looking for one random nickel or something. Um, but
Right. Yeah.
you're in your mind all day, every day. So that clutter there, definitely better not carry that around with you all the time. So that makes a lot of sense. What do you enjoy most about that?
It's that really, man, a lot of times all people need is just that sort of that push or that shift in that direction, and they can literally change their entire life. Like once a person sees that the ability to change their life is in their hands, it's like phenomenal things happen for them. And I think there's just way too many of us that are living in, again, this lie that's been created by the outside world or whatever about ourselves. And that's just simply not true. But when a person shifts that, they can change so much about their life, and then by extension, the lives of people around them. So it's a domino effect.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I get that. I said this the other day. I was talking with somebody, and I think it rings true. Um, let's say you're talking to a batting coach. The reason you are is because while you're going through your swing and you're keeping your eye on the ball, you can't see what your back foot's doing. That's
Yeah,
why it's really important to have somebody from the outside be able to look in and say,
for
you're
sure.
doing this, and you're like, I had no idea. It's just what I've always done.
Yeah.
And small tweaks can make big improvements, especially over time, especially when you're consistent with it, and you
Yeah.
know the direction you want to go. So, no, that's
And
amazing.
one thing just really quick to add to that, if you are a business owner, entrepreneur, salesperson, whatever it is, like if you're in this space already by default, you're sort of an outcast because there's less people doing this than there are people that are doing it. So, you might find it difficult to talk to someone who understands actually what it is that you're going through, because like I said, most people don't own businesses. Most people are not self-employed. You hear this a lot with spouses, that one spouse doesn't understand, maybe that one spouse has the business or is in the sales role or whatever, and the other spouse just simply does not understand, what their day-to-day life is like, So it's just, I think you're right. I think having that person from the outside kind of looking, like you said, what that back foot is doing, I think it makes a really big difference.
Yeah, it for sure does. And to the point, yeah, even though there's a lot of people that aren't in business, they're all willing to give you advice about what you're
Sure.
doing.
Yeah.
And if you're not careful, you might take it, and that's a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you, like, just back to the batting analogy? If you're a high level, ball player, you're not going to listen to some, Joe Schmo down at the local gas station saying, what'll help you. Who are you? I'm sorry, nothing against you, but this isn't your thing. So, absolutely. Well, what are the pain points that somebody might be going through that if they're dealing with X, Y, or Z, you're the person that they should be talking to?
Good question. So I have sort of 4 pillars that I focus on, which are mindset, performance, resourcefulness, and strategy. And within those 4 pillars, there's sort of, I guess, maybe sub elements. The mindset, there's a lot of talk about that. That's obviously the mental stuff, the self-confidence, the identity, beliefs about yourself, that kind of thing. Performance is all about mental, physical performance. So that would be like fitness, diet, health. I actually get into a little bit of neuroscience tools, like just explaining to people. Some people don't understand how sunlight helps your circadian biology. Resourcefulness would be something like problem solving, leadership, those kind of things. And strategy would be like team building, sales, analytics for your business, and those kind of things. So if a person is having maybe an issue or some questions in those areas, that would be where I would be willing to work with them. But like I said, it really comes down to, just taking all these things, sort of combining it into a superpower, basically, of becoming your best self.
Okay. What about power partners? What are other professionals or other industries that you synergize really well with, that you can collaborate back and forth with, refer back and forth with?
Yeah, for sure. So that would be personal trainers, fitness trainers, holistic health coaches, really most health coaches, to be honest with you. Maybe other mindset coaches, even, because if they have somebody that they're working with that maybe is for whatever reason not a good fit. Maybe even more traditional business coaches, like maybe a business coach who actually focuses on the numbers, the accounting, the legal stuff, whatever. Maybe they can be a good referral partner too, because if they don't do so much of the mindset stuff, they have the business side of it taken care of. So I think that would be good referrals.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too, because that just shows maturity in business. When I first started, if a client asked me, "Hey, can you help me with blank, whatever it is," and I'm not an expert in it, yeah, absolutely, I can help you out with it.
Yep,
Let me go figure it out. And you go and you put in all this time and effort into a one-off that you're not really even that good at, you don't want to do, and you spend all that time. Where your answer, as you mature as a business owner, is, "No, I can't." But have you met Cody? Right, and then
right, yeah,
let that happen, because that's that scarcity mindset, saying, "Oh, I have a client, I need to keep my client." Where it's like, I need to focus on what I'm really really good at and
for
create
sure.
partnerships with everybody that's good in their field. So, absolutely love that mentality. Um, what advice would you give a new or aspiring entrepreneur?
Oh man, you know, there's so many different things you could say here. I think one thing I wish somebody would have told me when I started out is that almost nobody is going to understand your journey. Like we talked about earlier, if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, you are already sort of going the path less traveled by. And so a lot of people are not going to understand what it is that you're doing. So there's going to be a lot of times where you're going to sit there and question what it is that you do. Like you're going to question, you might have family and friends and they have, and that's great. And they, most of the time they mean well, but nobody is going to understand where you're coming from, where your passion is, where your purpose is. And nobody's going to be able to guide you in the best way that you can guide yourself. And this is why building self-confidence is so important, because self-confidence is essentially trusting yourself. It is building that trust with yourself. And so when you have these questions like, man, should I start this business? Should I change this business? Should I get out of this business? Should I change my career? Whatever it is, these are very big life-changing questions. And you have to be able to explore that and trust your own inner guidance with that. And I think that's what the importance of self-confidence is. And of course, the way you build self-confidence is by keeping those promises to yourself, proving yourself to yourself. And that is sort of unique and different for everybody. But yeah, I wish, I think the main thing would be, if I could go back, I would tell myself, not everybody is going to understand, and that's okay, but you have to be able to follow your heart. And you might not be able to follow your heart. Maybe you have to build that relationship with yourself first, but that's a catalyst for really becoming your best self.
No, that's fantastic advice for entrepreneurs and just people in general. That's just like you said, that's just natural mindset is, you got to get some reps in, you got to get some wins in, because when, when a loss comes or a failure comes, because it's going to, you have all that to fall back on and say, no, this is something I can learn from, not something that's going to, crush me. Which is really, really important in entrepreneurship, because those other voices are out there encouraging you to not. And then if you're not mentally strong enough or have the mindset for it, you could step away too early.
Sure.
Fantastic advice. How can entrepreneurs develop a winning mindset for business success?
That's a really interesting question. I think the way that you develop the winning mindset is by changing how you see loss, like changing how you see failure. Because like you said, man, you're probably, if we're being generous, you're probably going to fail, 10 to 1 that you win. I mean, you're going to fail many more times than you win. And if you take your mentality and you flip that, and you don't see it as a failure, you don't see it as a loss, you see it as a way to improve, you see it as a way to learn, just that little shift, you can change how you see it, you can change what it means to you, and then you can use it to improve. Because, I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of mindset you have, what kind of mindset coach you have, like nobody wants to lose 100% of the time, all the time. But that's almost what like business and entrepreneurship is, man. There's so many losses until you can take those losses and build a framework on that to then win. So I would say definitely to form that winning mindset, I would say it would be definitely change how you see the losses and the failures, and don't see them as a loss or a failure. See them as a way to improve, which of course is a win. If you have something that's a loss, or it seems like a loss, and you shift it and you say, okay, well, this happened to me, I can improve this way from that. That is a win. That's an improvement, So I think that's definitely, change how you see failure.
No, that's fantastic advice too, because all failure is like you said, it's a data point. Okay, that didn't work, and I can learn from this. The people that are super successful, that where you want to go, they're the ones that have just done more failure, right? They're the ones that have learned from more things, because what happens is, you're going to have your numbers. If it's 10 to 1, and as you improve, you can get 10 to 2, 10 to 3. Nobody doesn't fail anymore. It doesn't matter who you are or what level, but you're going to fail. You might just fail less often. And that's all you're trying to do is fail less often. Right. Mm-hmm. So fantastic. How can fitness and health impact an entrepreneur's productivity and growth?
Yeah, this is a really good question, man. I love this one. Somebody actually just asked me this earlier. So one thing that I really appreciate about fitness is it's a very simple thing that most of us can sort of do. And it teaches you that being committed to the process is the prize of what it is that you're trying to do. So the journey towards the destination is always more valuable than the destination that you think it leads to. And one thing that fitness really teaches you is that, you don't just become a healthy, fit person. You just don't lose 10 pounds and just stay there. That has to be maintained. So fitness shows you that the power of the process, being committed to the process, gets you to the end goal as a byproduct of staying committed to the process. And you can take that same philosophy and you can apply it to a business, a goal, a career, or whatever. Also, too, we talk about losses and challenges. It's if you're just like thinking of that end goal where you want to be, and these challenges or these problems come along, it's going to be really hard to stay committed to that process and continue to do what you're supposed to do. Because, man, when you're down there, you're in the valleys and you're taking those hits, it's like that goal is just so far away. But if you can step back and be committed to the process and say, okay, well, this is the process. This is the path to this. Like, I had to go through these things to get through to this. Now, some people take that a little bit extreme and they say, well, it's supposed to be hard 100% of the time, all the time. And I say, well, yes, it's going to be challenging, but if it's hard, like, you can improve. It doesn't have to be hard. You can improve that and change it in different ways, you know. But yeah, man, fitness is the best thing about it is it teaches you to stay committed to the process. And you can, like I said, you can take that philosophy and apply it to different areas, and it shows you that the journey is the prize.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't add to that. That's perfect. Yeah, absolutely is. No, that makes a lot of sense. And it works with everything, with business, with health, with all of it, because you're just dealing with people at the end of the day. So,
Yeah.
How can personal development in particular help business owners overcome challenges and scale?
Well, I think the biggest way personal development helps you with challenges is you sort of create an identity for yourself as you're developing and as you're growing. And the reason that's so important is because when you have these things that challenge you and come along to test you, or you have these losses that you don't really know how to accept or take or deal with, if you have that sense of identity with yourself, you know how you're going to respond. You know why this is bothering you, what you want to get out of this, and where you want to be when it's all said and done. If you don't have that sense of identity, man, if you don't know who you are, these obstacles, these failures, they might come around and decide for you who you are. So it's almost, you know, you hear people say, like, before I tried this thing, I decided in my mind I was going to be this person or make this work before I even got there. And that's 100% true, because when you're going through these losses and you have these things happen, if you know, okay, this is the person that I am, this is what this means to me, and this is how I'm in this space, this is how I think I should respond, that's incredibly empowering versus like, oh man, these things are going on, I don't know what to do, who am I? You know, it's just like, and so, but the thing about that, the hardest thing about that for most people is the humility aspect, the accountability aspect, you know, the like, oh, if I'm exploring my identity, well, these things bother me. Well, why do these things bother me? You know, I see this people like, there's a lot of talk about shadow work in the personal growth space. And you see somebody, maybe this person bothers you. It's really got nothing to do with them. It's about the things in yourself, the traits in yourself that you don't like, that you see through that person. So yeah, I think it's because of identity. We learn our identity and who we are. That helps us stay grounded sort of in the outside world.
No, absolutely. If somebody was asking for directions, the first thing you're going to ask is, okay, where are you at? And
Right.
then the second thing
Yeah.
is, where do you want to go? If you don't know those two things, how are you going to direct somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I want to get to the Carolinas. Okay, where are you starting at? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
where are you at? I'm in Iowa. Where do you want to go? I don't know. How? You need
Yep.
both. So yeah, absolutely. So when we look at the marketplace and everything everybody's doing, it doesn't matter exactly what it is or what niche you're in. There's a million people doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So why you? What sets you apart? What makes you stand out on the menu of options that are out there?
I think this is because uh, I'm fueled by passion. This is a passion for me, and this is something that, you know, I feel like it's part of my life's purpose to help inspire and motivate and support people that are in this space. And so, purpose is something that I talk about a lot. And what that means for me is that if I'm in this space and it is part of my bigger purpose on this planet, then if something comes along to test that or to challenge me in that space, or if I have an issue growing that business or whatever happens in that space, it's easy for me to look at it and say, okay, well, this is uncomfortable in the moment, but I feel like this is part of a bigger picture for me, for somebody that I work with, for their family, for whoever. This is part of a bigger picture. So this thing is much bigger than me. So it doesn't really matter if I'm uncomfortable trying to grow this thing, or, you know, if I go into a meeting for it the first time and I'm maybe kind of nervous, or if I had to give a presentation, I'm a little nervous, whatever it is. It's like, yeah, that's uncomfortable in the moment, but it's attached to what I consider is a bigger purpose for myself and hopefully the people that I work with. And so when you know that and you're grounded in that bigger purpose, it helps you sort of, like we said earlier, shift your mindset about how you see those challenges.
Yeah, and that's my favorite answer. When you ask somebody, "What do you do?" and they go, "I do this," that's an answer. Or if you ask somebody what you do and they go, "Well, my purpose is," the completely different mindset.
Mm,
If you're just doing something, you basically buy yourself a job. But if you found your purpose and you're working on it, that stands out. That's not pedestrian. More people need to
right.
reach there. A lot of times, people on their path to finding that, but they just haven't got there yet. So that's fantastic. And all this stuff, there's been so many books written, so many podcasts, so many YouTube videos, so many just conversations about everything that we talked about here. So it's way too much for us to get into really, really deep. But is there anything in general that I missed or that I failed to ask that you wanted to add?
Man, I think we covered a lot. I think we covered a lot. I think I would just say that we've kind of already touched on it, but like your story is going to be your story specifically, and people are not going to understand that. And you have to be able to listen to yourself and guide yourself. And so this is why one of the reasons that I work with people with purpose, identity, self-confidence, because without these things, you're just simply you're just going to basically exist, and that's okay. That's whatever. But like I've talked to other people on the podcast, I've talked to other coaches, and one thing that we sort of all unanimously agree on is that one big source of unhappiness or lack of fulfillment in people's lives is living a life that they don't think is their life. Like they're living through, a partner or a parent or what society says they should do or whatever. And it's just like, it's following that intuition for yourself, bringing whatever unique thing you have to the world, because we all have that. Whatever your unique thing is, bringing that to the world, because only you can do that.
Absolutely. For people that would like help with that, where can they get a hold of you? How can they find you?
So I'm on pretty much all social medias. C Jones 803 is most of my social medias. Excel Coaching Academy is my coaching business. You can email info@excelcoaching.academy, and you can connect with me there.
Awesome. And they can hear more Pure Wisdom as well.
Pure Wisdom Podcast is on all platforms, Spotify, YouTube.
Perfect. If anybody would like to get a hold of Cody, do it. You're going to walk away feeling better. You're going to know more about yourself than you did going in. And that's important. Like we said earlier, finding that map, finding out where you are, where you want to go, and then having somebody watch your back foot while you keep your eye on the ball. It's super important. So absolutely reach out. He's the exact same in a one-to-one as he is here. So don't be afraid to reach out. I'll have all that in the show notes, so it's super easy to find. But other than that, if somebody would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Cody. If you or somebody would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. But Cody, really appreciate you taking the time, coming back and doing this again. we
Yeah,
had,
man, it's fun.
we had a great conversation before, but I think we had a better one here. And there's a lot of people that can benefit from it. So let's take it to heart. Let's all go out and have an awesome day and grow our circles. All right.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.